the Sheriff of the Court, East London. We've got this document to serve.
Almost 9 months after we began investigating the illegal practices of Eastern Cape litigation lawyer Zuko Nonxuba, the wheels of justice are finally in motion.
Does he live here, Mr. Nonxuba?
Yes.
Does he live here, ma'am?
Zuko Nonxuba, claiming to be an attorney for the people. He won nearly 600 million in medical negligence claims from the Department of Health since 2014, millions that he allegedly stole from his clients.
Mr. ndidibane naye ngo-2015 or 16. Nonxuba attorneys unceda abantwana abaphila nokhubazeka.
Nonxuba had a simple modus operandi: send recruiters into the poorest, remotest parts of the former Transkei, identify women with children who have cerebral palsy, a condition that can arise from mishandled births, sign them up as clients, and submit medical negligence claims against the Provincial Department of Health on their behalf.
He was paying people in the villages to recruit mothers with cerebral palsy children.
We combed the villages of the Eastern Cape and found numbers of women with the same story, the same evidence. The health department would pay settlements awarded by the court to Nonxuba, who was supposed to open trusts in his clients' names and transfer their funds, but he never did.
Hi, bo.
13 million.
13 million. Yo. Hey, pick go.
That amount has been paid to Mr. Nonxuba.
Dota nemali engaka?
None of the families we spoke to even knew how much money Nonxuba had allegedly stolen from them.
Kaloku wayendithembisile ngelaa xesha loba khona but uba imali andiyazi.
Akukolota i-21 million.
Zange ndayifumana.
We poured everything we could into this investigation, and at the end, one of many questions was, who is responsible for ensuring lawyers like Nonxuba don't take advantage of their clients? The answer is the Legal Practice Council, a statutory body mandated to oversee the profession. It's who we rely on for ensuring that lawyers like Zuko Nonxuba uphold the law. Shockingly, the LPC had failed to take action against him in spite of multiple complaints. In 2018, the Special Investigating Unit and the Eastern Cape Department of Health laid fraud complaints against Nonxuba at the Law Society, the body that preceded the LPC. But because he was also facing criminal charges, it refused to investigate. In 2019, the High Court ordered the LPC to investigate the complaints, and a year later, it released a damning report finding Nonxuba had violated numerous codes of conduct. But, again, there were no consequences, and these victims were left high and dry.
Mr. Nonxuba, abanjwe yonke abantu abathe wabavisa kabuhlungu inhlunga yo.
But after overwhelming pressure from the High Court and the Department of Health, the Legal Practice Council finally managed to suspend Nonxuba in April last year. However, he appealed to the Constitutional Court, which halted his suspension and allowed him to continue practicing. We've done 2 previous stories on the children left in the lurch by Zuko Nonxuba. In both, we battled to get answers from the Legal Practice Council.
The LPC has declined an interview citing legal reasons. But what I'm failing to understand is, if they are doing an investigation, how come none of these people that we've spoken to even know that they have this money?
khona
Yaphila. Umasa ke kana.
Singathetha ke ne.
Imali engaka sani ndingalifumani nesenti. Ndithi ndisokola ndidinga imali. Imali yami ityiwe ngabantu abanemali futhi.
Askisi no Omo. Askisi.
But finally, the wheels of justice seem to be turning. On the 3rd of August this year, the Constitutional Court ruled against Nonxuba's appeal. He has now officially been suspended as an attorney. But why has it taken more than 10 years for the 𝗀𝗶𝗃 to act against Nonxuba? After a series of refusals, the 𝗀𝗶𝗃 finally agreed to an interview. We spoke to 𝗀𝗶𝗶𝗴𝗶𝗃, the 𝗀𝗶𝗃 spokesperson, joined in the room by the Chief Executive Officer.
We've been investigating Mr. Zuko Nonxuba for a while now as Carte Blanche.
Yeah.
And what we know is that on the 22nd of February 2018, the SIU lodged a formal complaint with the 𝗀𝗶𝗃 about this gentleman. A few days later, on the 28th of February, the same year in 2018, it was the Eastern Cape Department of Health who also laid a complaint and requested the 𝗀𝗶𝗃 to investigate. Did the 𝗀𝗶𝗃 investigate him back then?
Our records indicate that the complaint was actually submitted to our previous regulator.
Are you telling me that before you conglomerated and became 𝗀𝗶𝗃, all the cases that this governing body was investigating and looking into, they just vanished?
No, that is certainly not the case.
The 𝗀𝗶𝗃 could not explain why its predecessor failed to take action, which allowed Nonxuba to continue winning multi-million rand lawsuits that he allegedly kept for himself.
It's important to note that any Nonxuba matter was brought to our attention on the 2nd of August 2021. That is the first time that we had any impression that there could be a problem was the 2nd of August.
In 2021?
2021.
What the 𝗀𝗶𝗃 was now saying contradicted its own report to the High Court in March 2020, which highlighted how Nonxuba was mismanaging clients' funds and noted other accounting irregularities.
This is a report, and it is clearly written here that it's 31st March 2020. That is attention to the High Court in the Western Cape. So your claim that you only found out in August 2021 doesn't make sense.
Okay, I'm seeing this. I'm seeing a document that says Legal Practice Council. There's no logo. There is no name. We would have a name. I'm not sure of the name. Do we have someone like Mr. Reddy? Okay, we do. Okay.
The 𝗀𝗶𝗃 called Mr. Reddy, one of its auditors, and he confirmed he did write the report.
You knew by 2019 that something was amiss here. In 2018, you had the SIU. Let's go back. In 2018, you had the SIU complaint. You had the Eastern Cape Department of Health complaint. You had the Western Cape Department of Health complaint. And then you've got your own report saying that he's overcharging. Are you telling me that all of this is not enough for you to act?
Your own report that you showed me.
Yeah, it's your report. Let's get it right.
No.
I would like to know a simple answer. Why there was no disciplinary hearing? That's a simple, you said that it was supposed to. Thank you. That's the honest truth.
The 𝗀𝗶𝗃 has been the curator or manager of Nonxuba's trust account for 3 years. It has a positive balance of 101 million rands. 101 million of clients' money. Yet the 𝗀𝗶𝗃 seem to have done nothing to track down any of these children and give them their money.
We could not act or transact or do anything on the trust fund up until the court process is concluded, which was early August.
They've been concluded now. It's been 3 weeks. What have you done so far?
You have not read the court order.
Oh, really?
No, you haven't.
Continue.
Because the court order clearly stipulates that, firstly, we need to get confirmation of people who have a right to submit those claims and get the necessary evidence.
According to legal experts, because of the involvement of desperate children who urgently needed these funds, no matter what the court order, the LPC could have gone to court and applied for an exemption to assist these victims.
What I really want to do, 𝗀𝗶𝗴𝗶, because I know you have admitted that as the LPC, none of you have bothered to even see this child or any of the victims. And I want to show you that it is a matter of urgency that these kids get the money. This is the state that 𝗂𝗏𝗃𝗃 is in. Now, having seen this, do you understand that there is no time? This child's going to die in the village, not because 𝗀𝗏𝗽𝗃 stole the money anymore, but because the LPC is resting on its laurels.
We are making on pro bono legal practitioners available to be able to assist individuals with a genuine claim against Mr. Nonxuba.
The LPC were unclear how long it would still take for them to get any of these children their money. Others, though, are acting with far more urgency. As a result of our expose on Nonxuba, this team of legal heavyweights have joined forces to get creative and finally using the law for swift justice.
Because, I mean, the LPC is fully aware that all Nonxuba's files, which is stands...
Leave the LPC for the time being. Right, let's concentrate on money.
I can go on a semi-urgent provisional sequestration.
You can do it on an urgent basis.
Yeah.
So then we can be in court next week, for example.
Yeah. Potentially.
Led by advocate 𝗬𝗫𝗽𝗁 and lawyer 𝗬𝗏𝗪, the team applied for a sequestration order to take possession of Nonxuba's property until he's paid back the money owed to his clients. We could not film during the proceeding, but the judge was very clear that Nonxuba had a case to answer to. The sequestration hearing has been scheduled for October this year. Finally, the net is tightening around Zuko Nonxuba.